And now the fifth and final movie of the series, at least for a few more months at the time of writing. Final Destination 5. God, I don't want to do this anymore. Released in 2011, this is actually a prequel to the first movie, set right before it in 1999, which means, chronologically, 4 is the last Final Destination movie, although Bloodlines will probably be a sequel to it, because making 2 prequels after 4 movies would be weird. But for now, let's just get this over with before I go insane. We find ourselves at a company breakfast before a business retreat.
Retreat.
And we're introduced to the characters who all work there. Sam, the chef, his girlfriend Molly, who's upset they don't hit the gym enough.
We're not working out.
Peter, Sam's superior, Candace, the intern and also Peter's girlfriend, Olivia, Isaac the fuckboy, Dennis, the department manager and corporate butt kisser, Nathan, who recently got a managerial job that he's getting bullied for by all the workers, and finally, Roy, Nate's biggest bully. Before we get to all the horrible shit that's gonna happen to these people, I will have you know that it's all Olivia's fault because she flat shames Candace.
Sweetie, it's not fat. They're called tits.
Absolutely disgusting, revolting even. This one sentence brings divine wrath upon everyone.
Hand me my chisel, I got a new command missile for y'all.
All tits are good tits. They all get on the company bus and a screen on it plays an infomercial.
180 corporate consulting.
First number alert. Isaac goes to the bathroom to have phone sex with one of his many hoes when a log truck drives by. Don't worry though, it's just here as a sup to the fans and to give Sam the patented heebie-jeebies, which means either he's our seer or he has seen the previous movies. They pass through a bridge that has ongoing construction where one of the workers stops their bus. Sam cuts his finger on something as the bus experiences a natural phenomenon called inertia. Then Dust in the Wind plays on the radio. Let's see. Seer identified. Song played. Heebies, jeebies, clues found. Wind blowing.
Hands shitted.
Yeah, I think we're good to go. The bridge starts cracking from where they're cutting into it, causing a tether to snap, and part of the structure it's holding up right next to the bus to start collapsing. Bus to start collapsing. Candace does the one thing you are not supposed to do in a bridge collapse, which is cling to the railing, and she quickly finds out why she shouldn't. But hey, I mean, it's not the worst fate. There's water below to catch her fall. Then she can just swim back to shore. I sure hope there isn't anything underneath the bridge. Unfortunately, there indeed was something in the way. Peter can't contain his tears that his girlfriend finally opened up and showed him what's inside. But Sam ruins the moment and drags him and Molly away. The gap in the bridge keeps growing and swallows the bus with Isaac still on it, who was too busy gooning to notice anything. The bridge breaks and cuts off the fleeing group who now have to tippy-toe across an I-beam to the other side. Sam lets Molly across first so he can get a good look at her butt, and then it's Olivia's turn. But she lost her glasses and apparently her brain went with it, as we get a quick shot from her perspective and it's literally just a little blurry. She has no reason to be doing all this. Anyhow, Sam guides her to the beam and helps her on it, but her tits, that she was so happy about earlier, spell her end as their weight tilts the beam and she slides off into the water. She makes it fine though, only a little wet, which is just how I like him. Unfortunately though, a car falls on her and adds the 70% water in her body to the rip. Nate runs to Sam to get across, but unfortunately, as we've established already, death is racist, so poor Nate doesn't even get a shot at crossing. Then that whole part of the bridge starts breaking, and a bunch of shit starts sliding off of it, including Dennis, who manages to hang on. Loki, I will just jump off the bridge at this point and swim away along the current, because like this whole bitch is gonna collapse anyway, and your odds of surviving that are significantly worse than surviving the dive. Dennis gets the forbidden face mask and goes to wash it off in the water below. I found his agonizing death quite satisfying. Fuck corpos.
Total corpo death. Kill corpos. Behead corpos. Roundhouse kick a corpo into the concrete.
Then it's Peter's turn to cross. Bro jumps and hangs onto the twisted railing and Sam follows suit. But then a truck comes out saying it actually identifies as a porcupine. You won't admit it, but Sam felt great relief in that moment as the railing couldn't hold them both. But now Sam has more time to climb. Or does he? I love how in previous movies every death was insane and complicated, but here it's just gravity, people falling and stuff falling on them. Everyone died on that bridge except Molly, who lived another 2 weeks before succumbing to the grief and attempting to hang herself in the shower, only to end up slipping and breaking her neck on the toilet. Then Sam snaps back to when he cut his finger and the song plays again, so it dawns on him that he just had a premonition. He freaks out, grabs Molly, runs off, Dennis being a control freak but too lazy to actually control anything, sends Peter after them.
Crucified filthy corpos. defecate in a Corpos food. Launch Corpos into the sun.
Then they all end up getting out to see what's up before the bridge starts crumbling. And since they all have a head start this time, they make it up the bridge in time. I want to point out that the bridge collapsed way faster this time than it did in the Vision. See here, their bus is still on it as it gives out completely. While in the Vision, only the middle section broke and the bus fell through it, and then the bridge kept breaking off bit by bit. Maybe Death realized it's not getting the drama it wants and just rushed the collapse to start working on Plan B. Agent Jimmy questions Sam, doing what Shrek and Wiener were doing in the first movie, but Sam tells him the vibes were just trash. Jimbo then asks Peter if Sam's a terrorist, to which he says no, he's actually a chef and his favorite recipe book is called The Anarchist Cookbook, which is a reference to the real book full of amazing recipes. You should definitely look it up. A guy walks in saying the forensics determined the cause was high winds and structural damage from the construction work.
You're free to go.
It's Sam.
At the memorial, the survivors, now
Branded the Lucky 8.
missed it by 30, talk about the accident and make fun of Jimbo for being bald. Molly seems to be softening up to Sam again, but Bro's a Skibidi Sigma male and has been mogging all her calls. The memorial starts and Dennis gives a soulless corporate ass sermon and they leave.
Stir fry Corpos in a wok. Toss Corpos into active volcanoes.
On their way out, you will not believe who they run into. Yup, the man, the myth, the legend, the mortician. Ladies and gentlemen.
Death doesn't like to be cheated.
Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean?
You all just be careful now.
God, I missed him so much. This comeback is the best thing they've done in the series so far. Later, Sam gets cooking. Literally, it's his job. After work, he reveals that in fact he is not a Skibidi Sigma male by going to Molly's place, who dumped him. And if that's not bad enough, he even left work early to go to her. Sigma rule number 1, never stop grinding. Sigma rule number 2, especially not for a woman. The lights at her place flicker wherever he goes, like he's got the devil on his shoulder, over and over. They sit down to talk and his Skibidi Sigma raised levels crash harder than the stock market would like 9 years later for them. She tells him she left him, aside from his tiny wiener,
Always the dick jokes.
Because it's...
because he's going to an apprenticeship in Paris soon for who knows how long. Okay, like, it sounds crass, but I low-key get it. Long distance relationships are ass, and not even like a nice ass. Like Molly's. I'm talking like Bigfoot's ass. So to save them both that terrible fate, and to spare him having to choose between her or his dream job, she makes the hard decision to let him go. Which is clearly hard for her too, but it's tough love. Also, it'd just be really weird between them if he does sacrifice his dream job for her. Like, it's not gonna work. Molly may not be the hero he wants, but she's the hero he needs. Meanwhile, Candace is crashing out before her gymnastics practice, but Peter tells her to break a leg, because this is the last practice before a championship, which is like a really big deal to her. You could say she's willing to die for it. The AC is down in the gym, so they brought out this fan while they fix it. Only problem is, the fan has a chewed wire, which is conveniently located right under the AC. Because the hall is so hot and humid with all the sweaty girls, water condenses on the cold pipe directly above the wire when the AC kicks back on. The AC, much like many people in these movies, has a few screws loose, one of which falls directly on the board thingy Candace is on. This is the least realistic scene in the whole movie, in the whole series even. A screw or a nail falling and actually staying within a reasonable area from where it fell? Impossible. You be dropping one of these and it's just gone. And when you find it many months later, it's 12 miles away in your friend's house, in their kitchen cabinet. But anyhow, she miraculously dodges the nail and is done with that part of her routine. On her way to the swing bars, the electrified puddle almost gets her, but she just walks away. The bar she's swinging on also has a screw loose and seems like it's gonna come apart at any second now. And like, Jesus fucking Christ, why is everything in a perpetual state of disrepair? Do maintenance technicians not exist in this universe? Another girl gets on the board with a screw, but unlike Candace, she gets screwed over and knocks the chalk tray down, which the fan blows all up in Candace's face and she falls. God damn it, Candace, you said break a leg. Just a leg. Sam arrives at the gym to console Peter.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
Then we get a shot of the mortician standing in the distance. Let's go! He's getting more screen time. He doesn't even have to say anything. His face says, I told you so, more than any tongue ever could. Then he just vanishes as soon as Sam looks away because he's built different like that. Next day at work, Sam and Molly reminisce about all the people who failed swimming class at the bridge and how quiet the office has become, while Peter just strut maxes in the background. Then Olivia comes in, rambling about Candace's forbidden flip.
Guess we all should have seen that coming. What? But you see the crazy shit those gymnasts do? I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Which is like, she ain't wrong, but that's not the time or place to be saying that. Meanwhile, Isaac is still being a gross piece of shit and rummaging through the dead colleagues' desks and stealing stuff. Isaac, more like, I suck, but at least he gets a small taste of justice.
Ow.
I like where this is going.
Then, Nate comes into the office to get away from Roy, and he even swiped a six-pack from his truck on the way. Peter ups the bounty with a bottle of whiskey, because he's just gonna drink himself to death if they don't share it. You know what? I'm actually gonna start using that whenever I offer someone something, and they say no just to be polite. Hey, you want some tea? No, shukran, Habiba, I'm good, I just ate lunch. Are you sure? Yeah, wallahi, I'm full, thank you so much. You're not just being polite. No, I promise, I'm really full. I will fucking kill myself right now if you don't ask me for some goddamn tea. What? Okay, shit, just fine, make me some tea with you. Cool. How much sugar? 2.5 spoons. They all get drinking and having a blast. Then Olivia's Uber arrives, so she rushes out. But in her hurry, she knocks her photo off her desk and it cracks a certain way. That's a clue because
There are no accidents.
with Olivia and the alcohol gone, Peter goes on about Candace's chiropractic mishap and he blames himself for not stopping her. So Molly tries to...
Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle.
Dennis, being the cock-slobbering rat fuck that he is, calls Detective Jimbo to report Peter's crash out.
Urinate into a Corpos Chew 2 tank. Judo throw Corpos into a wood chipper.
On the other end, Jim's poking around the gym, where one of the officers gives him the most accurate assessment of the situation so far.
This is some freaky shit.
Nice job, Officer Fuckface. You really connected the dots on that one.
Meanwhile, Isaac got off work early to head to a massage parlor that he swiped a brochure for from one of the desks. He borderline harasses the receptionist, who, I will admit, do be fine as fuck, but like, get it together, man. Whoever played this character did an amazing job, because holy fucking shit, I hate him. When I say he's not subtle at all, I mean it.
Erotic massage. Oh, these are solid, just making sure. Tend to be a bit noisy.
You know how people are super embarrassed about buying condoms? This guy is the final boss of them. The receptionist, God bless her soul, stays professional and guides this pig to a massage room and preps it for him. He makes fun of Buddha.
Yo, Buddha, slow down on the rice cakes.
Undresses and lays down. Then is instructed to wait as someone will be with him shortly. And true to her word, someone comes right away. But I think it's not who he imagined. Cho, this wonderful old lady, gives him an impromptu chiropractic session. Also, she understands English but speaks to him in Chinese out of spite. There's this really funny fourth wall break here. He asks her,
Do you come with subtitles?
Then the movie itself turns on subtitles for her after he says that. I like this movie so far. After she's done beating the shit out of him, she whips out the acupuncture set.
How many of these are you gonna put in me?
Then his phone rings, which he puts away and scolds him because there's a sign outside that says to turn off phones. He is then instructed to sleep for 30 minutes while the needles do the thing. Shortly after she leaves, Death busts in the room, says it's dying time, and pours flammable liquid all over the floor. Then one of the thousands of sticks of incense drops some ash on the alcohol-soaked towel used to sterilize the needle. And as we all know, alcohol likes to burn. He notices the fire and calls for help, but his blessing is now his curse, as the room is soundproof like he assessed earlier. He tries to get up, but he has the motor skills of a dying pig, so it doesn't go very well. Lucky for him, the fire is too high to reach the flammable floor. He gets up and instead of immediately rushing out, he takes the time to pull one needle exactly from his body, which is not a priority and also a shit idea because pulling out a sharp object embedded into you expedites bleeding. Never pull out. At any rate, he finally realizes he needs to escape, but the phone rings and its vibration knocks the candle next to it to the alcohol bottle, turning this to a sudden game of the floor is lava. And yes, that is quite realistic. That old phone, those little bastards vibrated like a washing machine. Bro overreacts and falls like a dumbass.
8:21 here on the air. We're experiencing very strong shaking. Wow. I think we need to get under the desk.
Instead of getting the fuck out, he just chills there on the floor for a bit. I guess he banged his head in the fall, or maybe the needles in his head touched his brain, because if he's always been this dumb, he wouldn't have even made it this far in life. But before the fire or asphyxiation or anything else can get him, Buddha gets back at him.
Fatality.
You know you done fucked up when the icon of pacifism is the one to do you in. Meanwhile, back at the office, Sam suggests to Molly that she come to Paris with him, since the company is shutting down their department anyway, and she can start over there. Then Peter walks in with the news. They rush to the parlor and everyone is scared and sad. All except one person. Sam confronts him this time and they go through the FAQ together. Why is he following them and what is he doing?
My job.
What's happening to them?
What makes you think I know anything?
What's with the warning he gave them at the cemetery?
It's just that I've seen this before. Lucky few survive the disaster, and then one by one, death comes for them all.
Nate calls it, quote, fucked up karma, which is actually a cool synopsis for the whole series. Then Sam drops the $1 million question. Is there a way to stop it?
You let death have somebody else in your place, and then you take their spot in the realm of the living, then the books are balanced.
They basically have to sacrifice someone else to save themselves.
I don't make the rules. I just clean up after the game is over.
God, I love this guy. This is very special to me. He's getting more screen time and dialogue than he's had in the whole series. Fuck the log truck. The Mortician is peak Final Destination. Also, I know his uniform here says coroner, but Mortician sounds way more metal, so I'll keep using it. The sacrifice someone to save yourself gig is new, or I guess old, since chronologically this is the first movie. Point is, it wasn't brought up in the other movies, which begs the question, why? Does death change the rules every time and the Mortician is just a messenger? Is the Mortician one with death? Realistically, the answer is because this movie was an accident child that came after the planned ones ended, so nothing in it was accounted for in any of the previous movies. I do have a problem with the balance concept. Remember in the second movie how a teacher got stabbed instead of Eugene after he got transferred to a different school? According to this sacrifice theory, that should have spared Eugene since death got a life, but clearly it didn't since Bro was included in the pile-up design along with all the other loose ends and ended up dying. See, that's the problem with making up rules as you go. You are bound to cause inconsistencies, especially when you introduce new rules in a prequel. But anyway, they each react differently to the Mortician's statement. Molly's upset, Peter takes it because he's desperate for an explanation, Nate, as a fellow man of color, is immune to the Mortician's swag and does not believe a word he said, and Sam remembers that death is not after all of them, as even in his premonition, Molly made it out. She was never meant to die. Peter gets mad at him for saving Molly, his girlfriend, in the vision that didn't actually happen, instead of Candace.
Hey dude, did you hear about Candace?
Peter's own girlfriend, who got her own ass killed by being a retard, and no one could do anything to help her. But also like, dog, she's your girl. You failed to protect her. How the fuck is that Sam's fault?
Candace dick fit in your mouth, son?
Peter's losing the plot. The grief is getting to him and something tells me he's gonna... He even low-key looks like the guy in that music video. Like, holy shit, what are the odds? The other three then remember that Olivia exists, not for long, and go to warn her. She's getting ready for a LASIK operation because she wants the bimbo look, which can't include glasses. L take, by the way. Girls with glasses are the cutest, especially the round ones. The glasses. Not the girls, well, I mean the girls too, but anyway, she sits in this Dead Space device and is being a big baby, so the doctor gives her one of the teddies they keep for kids. But I totally get it. I hate anything to do with the eyes. Zero judgment for being scared. I'm only judging her for getting a LASIK in the first place. Just put on glasses, bro. You already have them. Keep them on. Bro straps her head in, and the most uncomfortable scene in the whole series takes place as he shoves this Tom and Jerry ass device under her eyelids to keep them open, which she understandably hates. So much that she squeezes an eye out of her teddy. Good thing they're at an eye clinic. They can just pop that right back in once they're done with her. The doctor notices that the assistant messed something up and goes to spank her, leaving Olivia alone, strapped in this hellish contraption. Look, Final Destination or not, if a medical professional leaves me restrained like this, I'm suing their asses, and then I'm suing the rest of their bodies, and I'm winning both cases. Now take a look at this cup for me, will you? If you're an optimist, you'll say it's half full, but if you're a pessimist, you'll say it's half empty. And if you're deaf, you'll knock it over the outlet and cause the device finds Olivia strapped to start ramping up the laser intensity way above safe limits. We've seen this one before at the dentist's office. It seems Death has a standard protocol for clinics. But I do have to ask, if this device is not to be set above 5 megawatts, like it says here, then why the fuck can it even go above 5 megawatts? Same thing with the tanning beds in the third movie, but that one had water directly in its circuitry, so maybe it broke a safety or something and the gauge was just showing what it's sensing. And also it's not as sensitive as the eyes, so like whatever. But this here, this is just stupid. For a device that could explode a patient's head, I feel like it should be physically incapable of going past the safe limit under any circumstances. Regardless, the device keeps ramping up and the beeping scares Olivia, so she tries to blindly reach for the Looney Tunes remote, but ends up knocking it over and hitting the activation button. She gets her shit together pretty quick though, especially for a Final Destination character, and unscrews her head vice and frees herself. Meanwhile, in the lobby, Molly and Sam rush in warning the doctor about Olivia, whose screams become audible only now, for some reason. Wait, where the fuck is Nathan? He was with them last we saw him before they headed to find Olivia. Everyone rushes in and are greeted by this horror show, and in typical Final Destination fashion, they all just watch until things get even worse, as she slips on the teddy eye and falls through the glass and dies. I'm pretty sure everyone imagines this scenario when they find themselves in a glass building. Also, don't worry, you didn't think they'd just kill her and be done with it like that, did you? There's a gore quota that has to be met, you know. As she falls on a car below, her cooked eyeball pops out and falls on the road. Good thing they're at an eye clinic, they can just pop that right back in.
Guess what, bitch? It gets worse.
If I had to see it, so do you.
I don't make the rules.
Molly and Sam wait in the lobby while the police get policing. She's pretty shook and asks him to spend the night with her. Not like that. Or maybe, I don't know. Detective Jimbo shows up, as usual, and apparently the device did have a shit ton of safeties, who all had to fail for it to become a death ray like it did. Still stupid that they put safeties for it instead of making it straight up physically impossible, but sure, I guess. 1 in a billion is acceptable. But it would suck if you are that one. Jimbo finds it mad sus that Sam is always there for these freaky accidents, but he doesn't accuse them this time, and instead asks them what they know, and since he asked so nicely, they give him the death theory, which clearly he wasn't ready for. The next day, Molly wakes up to find Sam had been up all night gooning in her living room, and in the sweeping clarity that followed, he figured out the order. Nate is next. He's at work handling time cards, then he gets to Roy's and sees it has a bunch of hearts and a love letter on it. Turns out Roy was gay for him all along, and the bullying was his way of getting his attention. Nate, being the bi king that he is, walks over to the factory floor and calls Roy up to the catwalk. He comes up and gets down on one knee. Nate says yes, and they make out passionately, but then a crane interrupts them by falling towards Nate. Roy sacrifices himself to save the love of his life by shoving him out of the way and taking the hook instead. Rest in power, King. March with pride on your way. Down to hell. Yeah, sorry. I support the gays, but they still go to hell.
I don't make the rules.
You will forever be remembered as the most devout gay lover to ever walk this earth. With that sacrifice, Nathan should be in the clear now. Meanwhile, Peter reveals to Dennis that Olivia and Isaac ate it, and if they don't do something about it, they're next. Dennis doesn't buy it, obviously, and diagnoses Peter with survival guilt.
Twist Corpo's heads off. Report Corpos to the Wizards Council. Karate chop Corpos in half.
It frustrates me that Peter turned against his best friends without a second thought, but would take the time to go warn his gaping asshole of a boss. Like, damn it, Peter. Lapdog much? Bro riding dick so hard as to get pregnant. Bro says he will be of spontaneous combustion and will be broadcasted on
Hello, your computer has virus.
And what the fuck is you talking about? What the fuck was that?
Dennis, who is a known rat son of a bitch, immediately goes to suck Detective Jimmy's tits, also known as Jim Boobs, saying Peter just threatened him.
Curb stomp pregnant Corpos. Trap Corpos in the desert. Crush Corpos in the trash compactor.
Yeah, get fucked, Peter, you dumb piece of shit. Never trust corporate. HR is not your friend. Your only ally is your work bestie. That is like work 101.
Liquefy Corpos in a vat of acid. Stomp Corpos' skulls with steel-toed boots.
Peter and the couple both catch up to Nathan at the factory floor where Roy just slayed. Molly and Sam thought it was Nate who got skewered as it's his turn, while Peter believes that Nate killed Roy and is now free to live for however long Roy would have lived. And is so confident that he convinces Nate himself that he killed Roy.
And I make the motherfucker wonder if he did.
Sam tells them about the order, but before he can get to who's next, Dennis bursts in like,
Oi, 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 you wanker, what's all this?
Lobotomize Corpos.
Seems Death has indeed accepted Nate's offering and moved on to the next target. That sure threw a wrench in his plans. Fuck you, Dennis.
Grind corpo fetuses in the garbage disposal.
I hope you rot in hell and Satan makes you his sex slave, condemned to gargle mayonnaise for all of eternity. Back home, Molly's molding over Sam going to work, worried he's putting himself at risk, but he argues that if Death wants him, it'll get him regardless. And he also says that they can't live their lives in fear, blah blah blah, and as long as they're together, they're fine. The power of love may have saved her, but I'm afraid it won't save him, because Death is a simp. Only ladies get away. But then he offers her to swing by after his shift so he can make her a free dessert, and she's immediately on board, and they kiss.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Whoever said the way to the heart is through the stomach was cooking. The restaurant Sam works at is called Lemiro 81. Which if you mirror it, it is 180 Prim L, the curse number. Sam gets to work but realizes putting his money where his mouth was might be a little harder than anticipated. Bro should have stayed home, I'm calling it now. Also, Jimbo is waiting outside in his car. That's a surprise tool that'll help us later. Sam manages to make it through his shift against all odds, then whips Molly the mad dessert he promised her, which they split over candlelight. Sam tells her that he took the offer and they kiss some more and it's oh so romantic. But someone watches from outside and does not share their joy. Seeing them happy, Jimbo relives his divorce and how his wife took the kids. Seeing these two kiss and be happy stirred something so dark deep within him. Oh wait, that's actually Peter.
Hello, Peter.
My bad, yeah, it's kinda dark outside. He knocks on the window and Sam invites him to sit down with them despite how ominous and weird he's being. You know, crazy how Sam can sense death itself but can't tell a maniac who has been openly envious and even threatened Molly is up to no good. He says that after careful consideration, he's actually cool with taking someone's life to save his, but he can't get himself to do it because these people don't deserve to die. But do you know who does, according to him?
Molly!
Bro pulls a gun on her, but Sam flips the table on him and they bolt. Peter, my dude, I get that you're upset, but you're so incredibly stupid. If you've made up your mind already, why announce it to them before taking the shot? What's with all the drama? Just blindside them with it. Hell, why even knock on the window and ask to be let in? What are you, a vampire? Restaurant fronts aren't bulletproof, you know. You could have easily shot her from outside without them realizing you were ever there at all. Honestly, bro deserves to die more than anyone else. He's been a terrible friend, a corporate bootlicker,
Mandatory abortions for corpos.
and worst of all, a giant dumbass.
You are made of stupid.
Our secret tool reports shots fired and calls for backup before going into the restaurant ready for action. Molly hides in the kitchen while Sam distracts Peter, who figures that he is stalling, but since he's on the list too and killing him won't do shit if he's even allowed to die before his turn comes, aka after Peter, he just smacks him unconscious. Molly is clearly not taking this game of hide and seek seriously, as she's just crouched behind a rack with glasses and cups on it. Transparent glasses and cups. And she doesn't take her high heels off, which are A, loud as fuck, and B, impractical as fuck. But Peter is even dumber than her, as he doesn't see or hear her, so I guess it's fine. He turns all the ovens on and fryers for some reason, before continuing the hunt for Molly. Seems bro forgot it's still his turn to die, or he just doesn't give a shit anymore because he's really pushing his luck with Death here. I know Death likes action and probably won't interfere with their death match until someone wins, but he doesn't know that. Anyway, Molly draws a knife and prepares to practice for life in Paris, but then her target turns the corner and it's actually Jimbo. And like a complete fucking buffoon, he just stands there, out in the open, and asks her what's happening. Like, Habibi, you heard a gunshot, and you know there's a psycho running around with a gun. And as we've already established, she is also dumb, so she just comes out of her cover to tell him, it's Peter. Like, yeah, I think he knows already. I'd instead be telling him to keep it down and get the hell down. Stupidity can only go unpunished so long, however.
It's Peter, he has a gun. You killed him.
I'm a weird.
The lights flicker, which Peter interprets as Death heading next on the playlist. So, no need to pop Molly anymore. But then he decides to pop her anyway, cause why not? And also cause she's a witness now. So, he started blasting. But Sam comes to the rescue and saves Molly's ass yet again. Look, man.
She got a great ass!
But is it really worth that much trouble? She runs to get help while Sam and Peter show what a real Hell's Kitchen looks like. Take notes, Chef Ramsay. They slug it out man to man. No guns, as Sam had already knocked out Peter's hand. How would you like your gun, sir? I do have to say that in a place full of heavy, sharp, hot, and explosive objects, as well as a bunch of open flames, these two are doing an incredibly shit job at killing each other. Eventually, Sam loses, but Peter wastes enough time being cool instead of just stabbing him for Molly to come back and distract him. But she also gets subdued immediately and put in a classic damsel in distress scenario. and now Sam has to save her ass yet again. The length men will go to for a woman, it's insane. And the worst part is, I get it and would totally do the same. Peter clearly has learned nothing from the events of this night and still wastes time being cool before Sam turns him to shish kebab.
Get the fuck out of here.
Throw that bad boy in the oven. It's even preheated already. They kiss and the lights flicker, so they figure that by killing Peter, Sam stole Jimbo's life that he took. Well done, please. Death still killed them both with a sick ricochet double kill because kill stealing is scummy. Nah, it misses. They really are free. And 2 weeks later, they are headed to Paris. They get on the plane and get settled in when a commotion breaks out further down the aisle. Some kid is freaking out and gets escorted off the plane with a few other kids just before takeoff. Yup. It's exactly what you think it is. This is Flight 180, and we all know how that goes. But I do want to point out some inconsistencies. This time, the wing catches fire and burns for quite a while as the plane falls apart before it finally explodes. Whereas in the first movie, when we see it from Alex's point of view, after he got off, it seems to abruptly explode in the sky. And while it is really far, I think a fiery trail would be impossible to miss against the backdrop of the night sky. I believe that is because the wings don't catch fire in the first movie. Aside from the visual evidence I just mentioned, based on the theory Alex sees in the news that he uses to figure out the death order, it was some fuel pump leak that fucked up the fuselage and an electric spark set off the explosion on the plane's body itself. The wings had nothing to do with it. Second, in the first movie, the oxygen masks deploy before the hull breach, not after it. And finally, the hull breach is caused by an electrical failure inside the cabin, evident by a bunch of sparks and a small bang before the hull gives out. In this movie though, the first damage to the hull is caused by shrapnel from the jet engine. On a final note, while rewatching the first scene for this investigation, I noticed there is almost no screams in the background to the point it's uncanny. Like, guys, the plane's crashing. No time like the present to scream your lungs out. Let it out! Release all those years of pent-up rage so that you can pass on with a clear mind. Still, it's really cool how they tied the two movies together. All the side-by-side I just pointed out are just my autism showing. Death must have been banging its head against the wall so fucking hard when Alex got off the plane it was using to tie off loose ends, creating 7 more loose ends for it to tie off. So many rules, so many songs, so many designs, bros working overtime to keep up and still can. Death Inc. must have a bomb-ass accounting department. We definitely do, and we are looking to expand and grow even more. If you are qualified and interested, call or text us on 180-666-69-420 free of charge for further information and to apply. Oh, speaking of death's rule, remember the one about giving someone your death and taking their remaining days? While Nate pays respects to his gay hero who saved his life, he learns from a colleague that while the CIA was harvesting Roy's body for organs, they found out he actually wasn't gay. He just had a severe case of gay fever that had ravaged his entire body from the inside out and was gonna kill him any minute now. Any minute now. As a final treat, the movie shows us a sort of highlight reel of the whole series, which really shows they were actually done for real after this one. And Bloodlines is just part of the whole digging up old franchises because creating new ideas is too risky trend. But hey, if it doesn't suck ass, I'll fucking watch it. These movies are goofy as hell anyway and have infinite potential. Before we close, I want to show you the end of the highlight reel.
You got it! You all just be careful now.
They may have done him dirty and cut him out for 2 whole movies. They may have given him very little screen time in the ones he did show up in. But in the end, the very last thing we see in the series is his beautiful stride. And the last thing we hear is him wishing us well in his calm, ominous voice. I guess you could say that the Mortician was our final destination. Anyway, W movie. I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. My only serious gripe with it is the fact that it wasn't planned from the start. I mean, whenever anyone talks about death stuff in these movies, it's always Flight 180.
You guys all heard about Flight 180, right?
On takeoff, Flight 180 blew up.
This occurred 1 year to the day of the Flight 180.
The Flight 180 thing. Flight 180 died in accidents in the order they would have died if they'd stayed on the plane.
So you think that this was the precedent? The first time death rolled up its sleeves and came down in person. But nope, apparently there was this massive catastrophic event that happened not long before Flight 180 that most definitely took way longer to clean up and had a much higher death toll, but not only didn't become the precedent, nobody ever mentions it, ever? Seriously? The internet documented that a brick fell on Alex's head months after all was said and done, and there was not a single record of a similar situation centered around a huge bridge collapsing. It's just such a huge tear in the consistency of this universe, like it really annoys me. Another side effect of being a last-minute prequel, as I mentioned before, is that it introduced rules that never actually existed in the movies that took place after it, like the whole sacrifice mechanic. And that, ladies and gentlemen, probably mostly gentlemen, was the Final Destination series so far. And if you've made it this far in the video, I just want you to know that you are amazing and I love you.
I'm not saying no homo.
As for the movies, I actually liked them. Some more than others. The fourth was especially frustrating, but I think they all have their merits and are worth watching. Just maybe not back to back like I did. I've definitely lost brain cells over the past few weeks. Now that I've seen them all, thought about them critically, and made fun of them, I can finally answer the question I set out to answer. Did we really need that many Final Destination movies? Honestly, I would only do away with the fourth, mainly because the acting and writing suck throughout most of it. Yeah, it does get slightly better pretty far into the movie, or maybe I had just gotten used to it, but that didn't matter because I had stopped caring about it by that point. And while the twist was sick as hell, it doesn't unsuck the entire rest of the movie. It just gave me the push I needed to get through the rest of it without blowing my brains out. I'd maybe just redo it with better writing and more experienced casting, or just rehearse more, I don't know.
Hold it right there.
Hi. Sorry to interrupt me again, but I found some really cool stuff last minute and I wanna tell you about it. I went to the fourth movie's IMDb page to see if people hated it too, which they did, by the way. It has the lowest rating of the whole series. But anyway, I checked the trivia section and holy fuck, are these movies jam-packed with small details and in-universe references. Like the fact that the group was seated in the section 180 of the spectator area, which I totally missed. And in the cafe after the crash, the TV shows news about an amusement park, which presumably is referring to the third movie's events. It's also where I learned that the incident is actually based on a real crash, as I said earlier. They also have an in-universe brand of beer. Mr. Dipshit drinks it. A truck carrying its brand shows up in the second movie, and in the third movie, a similar truck boxes Wendy and Kevin in at the drive-thru before Frankie gets his haircut. Do you have any idea how cool this is? I freaking love world-building stuff like this. There are way more cool details and fun facts on the trivia pages of all these movies, by the way. If you're into this stuff, you should definitely go check them out after this. I know I had a blast geeking out about them, and it made me appreciate this series so much more, as I am starting out with writing, and I know how hard it is to pull this off clean. Now, back to me. The rest of the series is pretty solid though, except for the fucking wire scene in the first movie. Yes, I'm still pissed off about it. But regardless, if you like the premise, I think having more of them to watch is good. As for the horror aspect, it just doesn't really do it for me. In my opinion, for a horror movie to go from just fun to watch to actually scary, it needs to be the slightest bit plausible. Something like Quarantine. That shit's one of the scariest movies I've ever seen because simply it's way too plausible. And the way it's shot also really lends to the immersion and horror. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I can't recommend it enough. But that is just my worldview. Final Destination, from the perspective of the characters in it, is absolutely horrifying. Like usually there is a monster, a person, or a location that you can avoid, fight, or run from. But here, the monster, aka death, is omnipresent and can leverage the very nature of things to kill you. And the certainty that you will die a horrible death, but the uncertainty of when, where, and how has to be one of the scariest fates imaginable. So, in conclusion, I think the movies are fine. I love the fact they built a whole universe around them, and at the end of the day, maybe the real Final Destination was the friends we made along the way. As a final note, I think it's admirable that they managed to make 5 action/horror movies without a single helicopter crashing. This video has taken me a shit ton of time and effort to write and shoot, and I still have to edit all of this together. I've been shooting for almost all day at this point. So I really hope you made it this far and you've been having fun. But do let me know what you thought of it in the comments, and if you want more videos like this. And also let me know which movies you liked and hated the most. And if I've managed to entertain you so far, please consider supporting the channel. There's a link in the description where you can buy me a coffee, which is a cute way to give a tip. And there's also super thanks here on YouTube. It means a lot to me and it makes all this work worth it. Like the video, subscribe for more shenanigans, leave a comment telling me your thoughts, not necessarily about the movies or video, just any thoughts you have in general that you want to share. Write the first thing that comes to your mind. Let's see what the algorithm makes of it all. And if you have any video suggestions, absolutely drop those as well. And finally, join the Discord if you want to be friends, or more. I'll be the friend, you bring the benefits. That sounded a lot better in my head. I think I'm experiencing oxygen deficiency. I'm just gonna go lie down and breathe now, because I'm gonna arrive if I don't take this shit off immediately. Arrive where? To my final destination. And I'll see you next time, hopefully. Bye now. Have a good one.